Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 15 of the Glimmer Gang Podcast. As you're going to see or listen to here shortly, we have a lot to talk about. And disclaimer, this was recorded live on our Twitch, so you guys do want to catch those, make sure you're following us at Glimmer Gang Pod. But without further ado, everyone, take it away. Welcome, everyone, to episode 15 of the Glimmer Gang Podcast. We have a lot to talk about. We have cards. We have a German Lorcana event to talk about. We have the future to talk about. And we have a special announcement at the end also to reveal. But I guess let's get right into it. First is the new Amber cards. These are just the first three of the new Amber cards that we have. We have Ariel. She is a 3 cost for 2/3. She has 1 lore as well. She is Singer 5, and Singer is a new keyword that we got in this round of cards. And it says this character can sing up to cost 5 songs. Because even though she is a drop 3, she can sing those up to 5, which is very interesting, very neat ability to be able to use. She also has musical debut. When you play this character, look at the top 4 cards of your deck. You may reveal a song card and put it into your hand. Put the rest on the bottom of your deck. So that's Ariel. We have Sebastian, who is a 2/2/2 with 1 lore. He is Singer 4. And then we have Ursula's Shell Necklace, which is a 3 uninkable card, 3 cost uninkable card, and its item ability is now sing. Whenever you play a song, you may pay 1 to draw a card. So what do we think of these first 3 Amber cards that came out of the Little Mermaid franchise? Sean, I'm going to kick it over to you.
I gotta say, I love it. I do love the introduction of the singer keyword. That's super duper fun, and it goes right in line with what you would expect from a Disney card game, where we have songs. You know, they want to put that kind of emphasis on there. The flavor is right on there too. Ursula's Shell Necklace is perfect. Sebastian, Ariel, they're all. Mermaid has some very, very iconic. The Little Mermaid has some very, very iconic songs. So I think that was a great choice to introduce this this mechanic through this franchise and in this ink. I think it's spectacular. I can't wait to see more.
Blake, what do you got?
Yeah, I'm enjoying the song related package for Amber, but I do feel like we need to see more songs. Right now, I think the strongest card out of these 3 is Ariel because she can sing Swords and Let It Go at 3 cost. So that's the strongest piece right now. Right now, Sebastian the only songs he can get value from are Friends on the Other Side and Part of Your World, which I don't know exactly if those would necessarily fit in a song deck. We'll have to see more songs to really gauge how strong this package is going to be.
Yeah, it's a pretty cool little package. I mean, it's nice to see another little archetype developing within Amber with all these, the singer cards and the item to support it. And singer is really cool just because it helps you, quote unquote cheat ink. The real benefit of it, in my opinion, is that it allows you to sing these high value songs like Blake mentioned with Swords and Let It Go without having to commit a high value card. So right now one of the big things is singing, doing the Tink Swords drop, and if you have Ariel instead, you can sing the swords with Ariel and then still challenge with Tink, which just gives you so much more value. Because once you get into those 5 cost cards, you start getting into some very valuable stuff, either in terms of lore or just board control opportunities. And so, being able to make sure you're maximizing the value of the actual ink cards of the ink cost of the cards that you're playing is pretty awesome. And then just a little extra draw factor from Ursula's Shell is, Mwah.
Yeah, nice little draw engine for the deck.
Yeah, for sure. I think one of the biggest things we have is, in my mind, this singer ability could be really good. I think it would help a lot in some situations. I don't know, like, I think we have to see a lot more to what this could come. I don't know, like, how many the exact number of songs we have is, but if, like, there is a song, I feel like there's going to be a song-based deck somewhere down the line. Obviously, I feel like we could see it come from being a lot of Little Mermaid cards, given that we do have Part of Your World and all that. So, yeah, I think it's going to be really fun. Hello, Lorcana Illumineers. How we doing tonight? I believe that's Jonty. Good old Jonty.
And,
Hello, Jonty.
yeah, the cool thing about this, especially with Ariel and the fact that she's got a filter or a search, whatever you want to call this ability, is that, as the game develops and we get more sets and we get more songs, she just gets better. Until, another card comes out that does whatever she does but better. But until that point, then she's just, every single time we get a song card, Ariel stonks go up.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was going to say it's a lot like the item package.
It really is.
The more that we get for those, the better these decks are going to get. They might not be amazing set 1, but set 2, set 3, they're just going to get better and better.
Yeah, I really see it's going to take some like finagling, with card ratios and stuff, but I really see like this Amber, Sapphire, Princess, Singer items deck, and like it sounds like a lot, but there's a lot of overlap between all those different archetypes that I think it could be a thing.
Yeah, and I think we like. Do we know how many cards we're at? Has that been? I feel like I've seen it somewhere. It's like.
Dude, we're at like 125.
125. Okay, so
That.
So still like 80 or so cards to go. There are a lot of cards, like, and future cards we'll talk about in this episode. They've changed the game and stuff like that. So I think Singer can be really good, but Colette does bring up a good point in that there's only one 5-cost song so far. 2. What's the other one?
Swords.
Oh yeah, there you go.
We'll get to it.
Yeah, right. So something we haven't talked about yet. We're moving on to.
We are expecting Hakuna Matata in Amber, and that could be like the big.
Oh
That
yeah,
could be their big song. Yeah.
High value song. So
Yeah.
we're still waiting on that one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're moving on to the other 2 Amber cards we got. We got little young Lilo. She is a 1/1/1 with 2 lore, so just like Maleficent, but uninkable. Right? No, the other Maleficent is uninkable as well. I have a terrible. Okay, that's what I thought. Yeah.
Exact same.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Just Amber versus. Yeah.
Villain versus hero.
There you go. Prince Philip is a 4 uninkable, 3 strength willpower with 2 lore, and his ability is heroism. When this character challenges and is banished, you may banish the challenged character. So, Spencer, let me kick to you to start for this one. What do you think about these 2 cards?
Yeah, we'll start off with Lilo. I mean, Lilo is, we've seen Purple Mal for a while now. She was crushing it for a while, but with Tank and Sword, she's kind of lost a little bit of value. So it'll be interesting to see, how much value we can get out of these little bitty 1/1/1s for 2. But 2 lore is a big deal. It's a 10th of your win con, so, and they're super cheap, so it's really nice. Being uninkable is it's a cost, so it really just depends on what else you're trying to run. But overall, solid. Prince Philip is really interesting. He's basically reverse cat. And the cool thing about him is, when you've got to deal with all these big butted, chunky willpower stuff like Maurice, or Maurice wouldn't kill him. or banish him. My apologies, but Triton and or even a Stitch or things like that nature. You just swing him into it, sacrifice himself, and boom, it's gone. Like you don't have to worry too much. So he's kind of Amber's take on removal. He's obviously much worse than just a straight Dragonfire or Let It Go, but overall I think he's a pretty cool card. The fact that he's not inkable is once again one of those things where it's, can you fit him into the deck and how valuable is he going to be? I think it's going to be a real meta call depending on how much we see these big chunky willpower stuff and what other options you have to deal with it. If you're pairing with Sapphire or Ruby or maybe even Steel, it might not be that big of a deal for you, but if you're pairing with like Amethyst, who doesn't really have good removal either, then he's probably a good call.
Yeah, and with Amethyst, you can give them haste too with the Pocket Watch.
Yeah.
So be able to throw him down and smack him right into that big character that they thought was safe.
Yeah, man. Gotta give them those monster energies, We're not affiliated.
Nope. Clarification. Sean, what do you got on these two Amber cards?
They're both great in my opinion. We already know what the uninkable 1-drops can do. We've seen them in other colors. We know how valuable those can be, especially early game or for that late game push. Either way, and like Sneaky said, Prince Philip's in a weird spot. I could see him kind of being like not seeing too much play until, like Sneaky said, the meta actually develops. But I could see him being a silver bullet card, especially if certain decks hinge on, like, say you're coming up against Ruby, they have Courageous Outlaw. You swing into it after he does his thing. You swing into it, get rid of him. You know what I mean? They're only getting the one turn potentially, or if you can get him exerted sooner than that. So I think he's. With all the uninkable cards, I think that we have to reserve a lot of our judgments on them until we see the rest of the set, because they're uninkable to be balanced against other cards in the set. So until we have like the full roster, we can't confidently like really know how strong they're going to be. Yeah. Like some of them are super obvious, but like Prince Philip, I feel like is one of those that's not super obvious why he would be uninkable. So
yeah. And this is also another one of those situations where if we do or we don't have sideboards, it's going to be really important because Prince Philip would fit very comfortably into a sideboard.
Yep, I would agree.
Yeah. I think I would love to see, like you said, much like a version of the game, like a fan-made version that does have sideboards. I think that would be interesting to see. Just to see like how that could work. I don't know. That I do. He may not. I do. No. I think it would be cool just to like be like, it wouldn't be official. It wouldn't be like wouldn't probably get to the level like Commander is, but being able to like have like the ability to like draw, like go back and forth seems interesting to me because I've never played with a sideboard game before.
I mean, but yeah, we could be getting sideboards officially. Who knows?
Oh, that is true.
Yeah.
That is very true.
No word on that.
Yeah. So moving on to the next color, we have Ruby. The first three cards we have are a 4-cost Pongo, which is a 2/3 strength willpower with 2 lore, and he is evasive. We have a 3-cost Aladdin Street Rat, which is a 2/2 strength willpower with 1 lore, and his ability is improvise. When you play this character, each opponent loses 1 lore. And we have Gaston, which is a 2-cost 4/2 strength willpower, and is the first card that does not have any lore on it. It cannot quest. It could, but nothing would happen. And it has reckless as well. So really, you're not going to be wanting to quest with this card. Even if there's like other cards that give you more, that give you lore to quest with, it's not going to be with this card. So. Sean, what do you think about these 3 cards from Ruby?
Oh, where do I even start? Pongo, with his 4 cost, his stats, his 2 lore, and the evasive, he fits perfectly into a lot of builds that are utilizing Ruby and its evasive qualities. He's a hit in my opinion. I know that he can be gotten rid of rather easily with some of the options out there. I don't know that he's going to be the target over some other stuff. Then we have the Aladdin, which I haven't had the pleasure of testing out or anything yet, but I would assume that any card that allows you to make your opponents lose lore will see play in some form or another. And then Gaston, I was really surprised how much I liked Gaston. I actually had thrown him into the Amber Stitch shell with because he helps LeFou and everything, and he's a 2 cost himself, so he procs Rockstar himself. Used it to not great effect, but I only played 1 or 2 games with it. It felt good though. It felt very, very good. Adding that piece of removal to Rockstar Stitch through Dragonfire felt really, really good. So I'm on the lookout to see how viable that build is going to be with like I said, Gaston, Cheap LeFou, all that good stuff. Great cards.
Blake, what do we got?
Nothing too much to add. I haven't gotten to do a lot of testing lately, but I will say having another Aladdin for shift target for our big Floodborn Aladdin is always nice. So now you can have up to 8 targets in your deck if you have 4 of each. And then just that whole lore subtraction archetype that Ruby has going seems really annoying, especially for multiplayer. Ruby is like the way to go for multiplayer. And then, yeah, Pongo's a good boy. That's all I had to say for him.
Yeah, Ruby Steel is going to be the multiplayer deck where your entire goal is to leave the table with no friends.
Yep. Yeah, I was speaking to Jacob from Ready Set Draw earlier today, and we talked a little bit about at this point in multiplayer, is there any reason to not play Ruby? Like, I think Ruby's kind of the main right
We'll
now.
see.
With what
Yeah.
we have right now, it's really the only thing that does any sort of lore loss and multi-target type stuff in that way.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the only other thing I can think of is Robin Hood with its draw ability.
Yep.
But that's the only other thing I can think of.
I mean, there's a lot of fun shenanigans you can do with Emerald, with like Cruellas and Cats and Iagos and Beasts' Mines and stuff like that. But yeah, genies, but not like board wide stuff.
No.
Just like, 'cause, I mean, y'all remember when we played those first couple of games, so you'd be sitting there and be like, all right, cool. So if I take out your Cruella, can you use its bounce to get rid of that problem? Like,
Right.
yeah, it's gonna be fun.
Yeah. No friends after multiplayer games. No friends whatsoever.
And the Ruby Steel person is just gonna be the one that everybody's picking on because nobody wants to deal with it. We've already seen that. I forget who it was. Dropped the 2 Ruby Aladdins down, and everyone was just like, "Yeah, you're done. you don't get a board for the rest of the game."
Yep.
But yeah, and then outside of the obviously multiplayer, Aladdin's ability is really good just because it's such a huge swing. In 1v1, a lot of people are discounting the value of reducing your opponent's lore by 1. I've seen tons and tons and tons of games won and lost based off of 1 lore. And I've seen people say things like, well, why would you run Aladdin versus like Jasmine, for example? It's a 3 cost with 2 lore. And it's just a difference in what your goal is with that card. So Jasmine is an aggro card. Her goal is to get you to your win con as fast as possible, which sounds like, yeah, well, duh, I want that card more than the other card. But not every single deck is designed to win quickly, and Aladdin is a control card. He's there to help give you that time that you need in order to set up your board in order to control the game and prevent your opponent from getting to their win con before you can make your stuff happen. So it is valuable, even if it is just one lore, especially when you've got like Baby Aladdin, Rapunzel, Big Aladdin. Like, you can just frustrate your opponent to death.
Make them mad.
By the end of the game, you're at 20 lore and they're at 0. Like, kind of situation.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, we also have 2 more Ruby cards to talk about. Words, please. Both are 1 cost. One is a character. We have Minnie Mouse, always classy. She is a 1 strength, 3 willpower with 1 lore. And then we have Fan the Flames, which also is a 1 cost action and ready chosen character. They can't quest for the rest of this turn. So kind of the synergy with Gaston there. So what do we think about these 2 Ruby cards?
Boy. I'll go ahead and take it. Everyone's okay with that. Fan the Flames for 1. Minnie Mouse is great. 1/3. She's Ruby's Olaf. That's great. Fan the Flames is probably Popos. Okay. And the Flames is probably one of the first real staples, I feel like, because this is such a versatile card. Being able to ready any of your characters to pop off any abilities again, like Aladdin or Mulan, to get those off multiple times for cheap. Even the parent kit with other inks, being able to use Elsa multiple times a turn for their abilities, and then even just using it to ready something so that your opponent doesn't have a challenge target can be useful in its own way. So I feel like this is one of the first like real staples of every Ruby deck will have this card.
Yeah, I see where you're coming from, but I mean, being able to quest and then attack is nice, and being at a 1 cost is nice, and being inkable, but obviously we haven't seen all the cards, but I feel like there's good options, and like when I'm building Ruby, this doesn't come to the top of the mind of what I want to put into the deck, just for my personal opinion. But Sean, Spencer, you guys got anything?
Oh yeah, absolutely. That mini I can live without, really. She's not really art's phenomenal, love it, good stuff. Stats are okay, but they're really just okay. But Fan the Flames, this is a card that I personally thought could have easily become an uninkable card, but that's my opinion. Imagine you shift Heroic Outlaw onto Baby Aladdin, swing, take something out, Fan the Flames, unexert, swing, take something out again. That's an 8-point difference right there between you and your opponent.
Mm-hmm.
Also, works in conjunction with Mulan as well. You could banish another character in a challenge, Fan the Flames, do it again. All your other characters are getting +2 lore that turn. So don't sleep on it. I promise you it's going to be amazing, especially once we see more stuff. But
Okay.
yeah, that's my opinion on those.
Yeah. As soon as I saw Fan the Flames, I was like, this card is amazing.
Yeah, the degeneracy that you're going to be able to do with that card is bananas.
Yeah, like we've already mentioned, Aladdin and Mulan, but we can't forget the big monster in the room right now, Ink.
True.
It can double Tink in a turn, really wipe somebody's board. And it's just super, super flexible. Like, you can use it offensively, like we've been talking about here, with combining it with all these other high value challenging cards. You also can use it in a situation where it gives you the opportunity for something to attack twice that might not have been able to banish something, but then now it attacks, challenges once, deals half of the other thing's willpower and survives. Say you're going into a Moana or a Maurice who has low attack, high willpower, low strength. Sorry. Well, then you can poke it twice. And so that just gives you another. It's like having a rush on a character, right? A little extra damage that your opponent might not be ready for. You can use it to protect your characters. So, in Amber Ruby, for whatever reason, say you use your Moana, you play Amber Ruby Princesses. Sure. Not a thing, but let's pretend. You quest with your Moana, and then ready up all your princesses, and then you can ready your Moana again so it doesn't get taken out next turn, and you can just keep doing this, and your board, unless your opponent has removal, your board's safe, and you can just quest away for the rest of your time. Really fun thing that most people don't think about is it can be used to get bodyguards out of the way to attack high value characters.
It's true. That's good.
That's true. That's true.
Because it says ready chosen character, so you can choose your opponent's characters. So if they've got that big old chunky Mickey Musketeer in the way of their whatever, Hans getting them 3 lore over there. Cool. Go take a break, Mickey. I'm gonna take Hans out real quick. And it's inkable, and it's 1 cost. It's just so flexible, and there's so many use cases for it, and it's so cheap. Like, it's just a really, really high value card in my opinion.
Okay, you guys have convinced me. I see it now.
Yeah.
I see it now.
We have a convert.
All right. Now we're for the Glimmer Gang calling this card fantastic.
But yeah, I mean, like, Mini's okay, and what you guys said about Fan of the Flames, like...
Fan of the Flames is the one to talk about here. Yeah. And, of course, at the very, very worst case, it's an ink.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So the next color we have is our Amethyst cards. First is a 4-cost Ana, is the first Ana card we have. A 2/4 with 2 lore. Loving Heart, when you play this character, if you have a character named Elsa in play, choose an opposing character. That the chosen character doesn't ready at the start of their next turn. We have Jetsam and Flotsam. I'm probably not saying that right. Maybe I am. Who knows?
You did. You
know it. Okay.
Close enough. Yeah.
Close enough. I thought it was Flotsam for the longest time, but Jetsam is a 4/3/3 with 1 lore. He is evasive, and your character, his ability, Sinister Slither, your character's named Flotsam gain evasive, and then we have Flotsam, which is a 5/3/4 for 2 ink. He has Rush, and basically the same thing as Jetsam, he just gives his character's name Jetsam Rush. And then today we got Marshmallow from Frozen, kind of Frozen Week, over here in Lorcana Land. He is a 6/5/5 for 1 lore. And his ability is durable. When this character is banished in a challenge, you may return this card to your hand. So, Spencer, what are your thoughts? I'll throw it over to you to start.
Sure. I was super excited to see Anna because I've been talking about like stun cards and Amethyst for a while, and so finally seeing one made me really, really excited. She pairs up with Baby Elsa really well, and then we've also got 2 more Elsas coming that we haven't seen, so we don't know how that's going to work. So if you're going like a heavy like Frozen deck, like all the Elsas plus Anna and whatever else, then she could definitely see some value. She can see those elses on the board. If you're not running a lot of elses, then you're not running Anna, because then she's just kind of meh. Her stats are okay, so it's not too bad if you play her down and you're not able to take advantage of that particular ability. Jetsam and Flotsam, they're cool. As we see more versions of Jetsam and Flotsam, their value is obviously going to go up, which is pretty cool. Just gives them that that over time value sort of situation. Right now, they're nice to have in Amethyst because it gives them some answers for the Ruby Emerald Evasive deck. They're just a little bit over costed for their stats because of that matters ability that they have is costing them some stats, and so that kind of hurts them a little bit. Marshmallow, I don't know how I feel about Marshmallow. Once again, he's another one where his stats are a little down. He is nice that he's recurable if he takes something out in a challenge. I think at that late part of the game, I don't know how much value he is with only 1 lore and only 5 power, but I could be wrong. We'll see. The fact that he's uninkable, I think, hurts him a lot. Same with Flotsam. Sean, what do you think?
At this point, I'm pretty sure that Amethyst might be my least favorite color. I've never really loved draw. Don't get me wrong. I fully admit that it's a powerful color because of all the draw. The rush cards have made me like it a little bit more. I do like that they get to play with rush a little bit in this color. Anna, obviously, super great in a Frozen / Elsa deck. She's gonna be really nice to get those stuns off and to keep them stunned. Flotsam and Jetsam, I think they're too conditional and they're not easy enough to get out. I would like to see maybe once we get an Ursula card, having her maybe make them at 1 cheaper each, and that would help them out quite a bit. And then Marshmallow, I gotta say, I think Marshmallow might be kind of stuck in the same area as like a Prince Philip. Very situational card to add to your decks, because while bringing back a 5/5 over and over again is nice, at 6 cost, I think there is going to be other stuff in your hand that you'd rather be replaying or playing in general. Like I keep saying though, Flotsam and Marshmallow are both uninkable. They have to be for a reason. We just have yet to see the real reasons, I believe. Cool, great art though. I will admit, all 4 of these cards have phenomenal art.
Yeah, a lot of great art so far. Yeah, I agree with most of the points. Marshmallow, I just feel is too slow.
Yeah.
Especially because each time he needs to turn to get ready to be eat. He definitely wants to be played with Pocket Watch, so you can haste and swing into something immediately and make sure that you decide how Marshmallow gets back to your hand. But yeah, right now that's a lot of setup because you need 7 ink for that to already have the watch on the field because it costs 1 to give it haste, I believe, if I'm remembering that correctly. Yeah. Yeah, so I just feel like that play with the cards we have right now, it's just too slow. And the value is minimal. But yeah. Other than that,
Cool brings up a good point in that Jetsam could see play even without Flotsam for the time being, just because he does have evasive. But like, I believe it was Sean that said like the more we see of Jetsam and Flotsam, those will become infinitely more valuable in decks. Marshmallow, I think if he was inkable, he might be a bit more viable, but as of now, really not that viable in my opinion. Maybe like a 1 of or a 2 of if you need like something in the deck, but I feel like there could be a lot more played in those slots. And then if you did want to run like an Ada and Elsa deck, you have your 2 cards now. Definitely the synergies there to be able to work and use Elsa's freeze ability and stuff like that. So I think all these 4 Amethyst cards are good in their own minds, but like are good in their own rights. But we have to see what these last 80 or so cards bring for them. The next color we have are our steel cards. First is a 6/6/6 2-ink Kronk. We have the other 5-cost song, which is Grab Your Sword. Deal 2 damage to each opposing character, so more AoE. We have 2-cost Break and Banish Chosen Item. So item slingers. What's the word I'm looking for?
Beware. What?
I can't think of the word. Items. It's never mind. Honestly, I don't know what I'm trying to say here.
Moving on.
Yeah, and then Musketeer Tabard, which is a 4-cost, and All for One and One for All. What?
Tabard,
Tabard, same thing. Tomato. One for All for One and One for All is whenever one of your characters with Bodyguard is banished, you may draw a card. Blake, kicking over to you. What do you think about these 4 steel cards that we got?
Yeah. Oops. That's my spot there. There we go. Yeah, Kronk, nice solid little body. 6/6/6, 2 lore. Nice and solid, vanilla. Grab Your Swords. Definitely everyone was drooling over this card when it was released. Probably the strongest, one of the strongest songs of the set. Just pairing it with Tink alone, being able to, on that turn, play Tink for the one across the board and then sing the song for 2 more, left Stitch decks crying. Break. Break is break. Until more items come out that are really crazy. These are maybe, even when items do get crazy, it's just going to be a tech card that you'll maybe slip a few in. The thing that does save it for sure is that it is inkable. So at the very worst, if your opponent doesn't play items, you can use it for ink. And then the Tabard, I really love that it enables bodyguards and not just musketeers. I feel like it would not be as good if it just cared about musketeers, and the fact that it cares about bodyguards, I think, will make it a very nice build around card for a build around bodyguards. So I'm looking forward to see what other bodyguards that we have, because right now we have 4 and potentially 5 if we get our Donald musketeer.
Yeah.
But that's the only one I know, like, maybe for sure that we're getting.
Spencer. Oh, okay. So the same person.
Right. Yeah. So, Kronk, I think Kronk's good. You know, he's inkable. He's got good stats, 2 lore. He's just a very solid vanilla. Whether he'll find room inside of constructed decks or if he's relegated to, you know, limited play, I'm not really sure. But overall, I think he's solid. Grab Your Swords, we've talked about. It's been crazy. Totally wiped the entire low to the ground aggressive meta that was developing in this pre-release season. It's really, it and Tink are really the first cards we've seen that are high value cards in the terms of card advantage. So these are pretty much the only cards we have right now that can go 2 for 1, 3 for 1, 4 for 1, etc. And so that makes it super, super awesome. The fact that it's a song and you can get it out there for free is even better. So it's really, really good. Break, like we said, it's break. It's really situational depending on how valuable items are. As of yesterday, there are definitely some items that I might want to run this in my deck to deal with now. But at the end of the day, you're better off running the beast hard-headed because it's just more value. It's just a better card across the board just because it's more useful in more situations. Break is very, very specific. And then Musketeer's Tabard, super excited about because I think everybody knows that I'm super excited for making a Musketeers Matters deck, and this just really helps that. And so I'm very happy.
It kind of feels like Musketeers Matter might turn into just Bodyguard Matters. You know what I mean? With the way it seems right now.
Yeah.
Which is not to say it's a bad thing.
Yeah.
Is it my turn?
It is your turn, sir.
Well, I honestly don't think every Musketeer is going to have Bodyguard.
And they might not. And they might not.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So, like everybody has basically said so far, Kronk, really solid card. I don't love the art, but that's a personal opinion.
I'll agree with that one.
It
Looks like
fair opinion.
It's a nice Chad face on there.
Yeah, it's like Dwayne the Rock Johnson with a mullet almost is what it looks like to me.
Are we sure it's not just Maui?
I mean, it's there we go. That's what it is right there. But Grab Your Sword, phenomenal card. We've been waiting around for something like this pretty much since people started playing Rockstar. Great card. Break, gonna be conditional. Like Sneaky said, you're still probably better off unless it's like you're trying to get rid of something super early game so they can't establish. Like you'd take Break over Beast Hard-Headed, but at the same time, you still want that body attached to that effect. And then Musketeer Tabard again, it's giving you value for something that your bodyguard characters are going to do anyway. So beautiful.
Yeah.
Great card. Love the art. It's very simple. But it's clean. Exactly. It's clean and it shows exactly what it is, and there's no questions about it. I do love it. I love that art very much so.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'd have to agree that Bodyguard, Musketeer, even if all the Musketeers don't get Bodyguard, I feel like that deck is going to be really neat to play. Just kind of like sit behind and work through your deck and like play a little, probably more defensive deck than anything. Break, like you guys have said, playing that Beast card, having that attached to the body, like you just said, Sean, is phenomenal. Maybe not phenomenal, but it's a lot better than just a single-use action. Grab Your Sword deals with Rockstar Stitch decks very well. And then Kronk is just your good, beefy boy with 2 lore that you can plop down, and people might have a hard time getting rid of late game. And when you need that late game push and something to not go off the board in a turn, that is a very viable option. So the next color we have our Sapphire cards. We have Triton, the Sea King. He is a 7 cost, 5/9 strength willpower with 2 lore. We have a 5/3/6 Maleficent. She has 3 lore, which is very good. If it's not Baroque, I'm not sure how I'm supposed to be saying that, honestly, and I take French, but it's just a 3 non-inkable action, and return an item card from your discard to your hand, so helping Item Slinger who's Sapphire with Maurice and Belle and all that jazz. And you have a Scepter of Arundel, which is an item, and its command, exert, chosen character gains support this turn. Whenever they quest, you may add their strength to another character's strength this turn. So what do you guys think? I'll start with you, Spencer. What do you think about our Sapphire cards?
I just love how you can describe Scepter of Arundel without freaking out. Because I couldn't. 'Cause this card is bonkers. But we'll save that one. Talk about the rest of them first. Triton, I've seen him in play, and he's done some work just because he's one of those super chunky high willpower cards with 2 lore that just makes him really valuable, hard to deal with. And he's just a nice late game drop just to help you finish off getting that last couple of lore that you want. I've been impressed with him. He's going to be great in limited. Same with Maleficent, man. This 5 costs 3/6 for 3. Some people have said, well, she's just a chunkier Moana without the ability, which is true. But also, just anything with 3 lore is super valuable. And the fact that she's got that chunky willpower, and unlike Moana, has that 3 power to help actually deal with whatever comes into her and trade a little bit is really nice, because right now trading into Moana is basically free. Maleficent, you kind of have to make some decisions about. People are freaking out about her art. I'm not. Like, it's cool, it's good art. I'm not super in love with it like other people are, but maybe I just don't have good eyes. And if it's not broke, this is another one of those ones. It's uninkable because it returns things from the discard, and it seems like anything that returns things from the discard is uninkable in this game. It's not a song, it's 3 cost. So outside of Item Slingers, I don't see this being played at all, and I think it's even hard for it to get a slot in Item Slingers. Just because of that uninkable ability. Now, as we see more valuable item cards like the Scepter over here, and we see more item removal being teched into the game, then that may change. But again, it's going to be one of those cards that just like, it's super meta. It's really going to depend on what's happening with the state of the game. As for Scepter, this card is absolutely bonkers. It's 1 cost and inkable, meaning it's super cheap. And it's flexible, so if you pull it late game and you've already got 2 scepters on the field, well, cool, it's ink now, like whatever. But the fact that it gives you a chosen character gain support for free is nuts. Support is one of the best keywords in the game because it gives you that additional value from your cards. Basically, what it does is it allows you to both challenge and quest with a character at the same time, which is bonkers. And so being able to choose exactly any character that you want to be able to do that is amazing. At your Scepter, use Maleficent to quest. You get 3 lore and something else like a Flounder can get 3 power to go smack something else, which is just really awesome. Or quest with your Triton here, give something else 5 power that's only worth 1 lore, or heck, throw it onto a Gaston who's got no choice but to challenge. And you're just getting so much value out of this card, and it's so cheap. There's no cost to use it. It's just an exert. There's crazy combos like putting it on Ariel, and then she can just quest and ready and quest and ready and quest and ready, and every time she does, she's just giving something 3 power over and over and over again. Or if you've got 2 Scepters and 2 Ariels, and they're questing and readying, and they're buffing up each other each time, and then it becomes geometric, and then finally the last time they quest, they throw it all into one thing, and you just got like a 48-2 Flounder, and he just goes and smashes something. Like, dude, I don't know. It's just
you just described like Jared's stream.
Dude, for reals. Like, I don't know. It's a really, really good card. All right, I'll let somebody else go. Blake.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, I agree. Scepter is the item to go in the Items Matters deck. For Baroque, definitely right now, it's if you have it in your deck, you maybe have a copy or 2 at most, and that'll be there if you happen to run across a deck that runs enough item removal to get rid of your Scepters. And then the one thing I do want to mention about Triton and Maleficent is I feel like they are what you are building to for your ramp package that you have in Sapphire. Getting those cards out early and being able to play those cards with the big bodies and the high lore value a lot earlier than what uh, your opponents are going to be able to deal with is the strategy for the ramp package. I think those are the cards that you're building towards.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. John?
Yeah, first of all, Maleficent's art is phenomenal. I don't remember if it's a crow or a raven that she has, but the way that they do that with like making it look like a constellation essentially, and tying that into the sapphire detailing, perfection. I love it very, very much. Stat wise, really great, and like Blake said, we're ramping in this color anyway, pretty aggressively at this point, so you're getting them down a turn or two early, no matter what. If it's not Baroque, I think you'll see 2 or 3 in every item stack, regardless, because you're probably gonna want to get like a scepter back if it's broke. If somebody breaks it, you're gonna want to get a scepter back, stuff like that. And scepter, absolutely, I could see scepter not just being in the items matters decks, but I could see scepter popping up in a lot of sapphire decks. Period. Because say you give either one of these characters support, they're adding 3 or 5 power to another character. That's kind of nuts. So yeah, I think it'll see a lot of play regardless. And like Sneaky said, even if you get it late game, you are gonna ink it anyway. So
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and here's my thing. Like, I think it's going to be in Sapphire everywhere, but like Merlin isn't a card anymore, in my opinion. Like, why would you run Merlin when you can run Scepter instead?
true.
Yeah.
I could see that.
Yeah. Poor Merlin. He looked so good for a while.
I've never actually put him on the board. He was never the right call. So he always just emailed his ink for me. But the flexibility that Scepter gives you, being able to use Scepter in combination with really high lore targets is really really nice.
Yeah. So obviously, very, very good Sapphire cards here. Scepter is another must play in item decks and non-item decks. Baroque could be played. I feel like it's one of those. For me, it's one of those cards. Like, we just have to see the rest of the cards that come. Maleficent, 3 lore for 5 cost is very good. But as we're about to see in the next color, it's not the lowest cost we have. And then Triton, obviously, just the big body. But like I said, the next color, we have our Emerald cards, which I know Sean is super excited about these. We have we have a 1-cost Duke of Wesselton, which, to be honest, this is not a card I was expecting to see in the first chapter. But he's just a regular 1/2/2 for 1 lore. We have Hans, which is a 4-cost, and then he has 3 across the rest of the board with strength, willpower, and lore. We have a 1-cost Stampede, which is deal damage to chosen character. And Vicious Betrayal. Damage character, yes.
Yeah.
We have Vicious Betrayal, which we just got like an hour or so ago in the Lorcana H. Yeah, just.
Yeah.
I'm like,
a pretty good chance.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
We have, it is a 1-cost, and it is and chosen character gets +2 strength this turn. If villain character is chosen, they get +3 instead. Villain stocks are going to the moon. And Sean, what do you think about these cards? And because I know you're super excited about them.
I'm very, very excited about them. The more Emerald stuff we get, the more it's solidified as my favorite ink so far. Not to say I won't play other inks, but you'll probably see me playing Emerald more often than others. Agree with you, Duke of Wesselton. Wasn't expecting him to be our 1-drop 2/2 with 1 lore. I wasn't expecting him. I don't hate it though, mainly because what the imagery kind of is telling us, the story behind the artwork, because him, much like Detective Mickey, is interacting and investigating a strange purple substance, which we've all dubbed purple seaweed at this point. It's what it pretty much looks like.
Yeah.
So, I like the story implications when it comes to that. And it's a solid art. There's nothing. It's kind of middle of the road for me. Nothing too spectacular or great. Then we have Hans, and I love the muted colors of it. I love he's not in the middle of the frame. He's kind of off to the side, which it makes it a little bit unsettling. I do love his stats. The 3 lores, fantastic. Stampede, it's, for lack of a better term right now, it is a worse cannons.
Mm-hmm.
It's 2 damage to a chosen damaged character, which it seems like this color may get paired with other colors that already do damage, i.e. steel, so it might not be as big of a drawback. Say if you're running 4 Stampede and 4 cannons, that weakness isn't quite as weak, if you ask me. Plus, there's all the other ways in steel to deal a little bit of damage to stuff. And then Vicious Betrayal. I really like this because this is specifically better for villains than it is for any other type of character, which I really love the flavor of that. I love the artwork. It is phenomenal. It really shows the viciousness of Scar, the helplessness that Mufasa's going through in that moment. And I really like that this kind of is giving us a little bit more to play with as far as villains matters, whereas we only really had Big Hades. So Amber Emerald villains may actually be a thing. So I'm really excited. I really have been hoping to be able to play that deck sooner rather than later. So I'm excited. All 4 of these cards are great. I'm really glad we got Vicious Betrayal right before this all happened. Because like I've been telling everybody, I'm ready to start my villain arc.
Spencer, what do you think about this villain arc? What do you think about these cards?
Sure. Not much to say about the first 2. That hasn't been said. Stampede. Listen, I cannot fathom why this card is not inkable. I think with certain stuff like the returning from the graveyard, dealing damage, and rush, like they just gotta have it's no inkable policy on them. And I just don't feel that this card warrants it. It's so much less flexible than cannons. Like, Sean called it a worse cannons. I'm calling it trash cannons. And so we're gonna have to see some very interesting things in order for me to think that this card has any kind of stonks or playability whatsoever. It did make me think of like a really cool card we might be able to see in Emerald, where anytime that your opponent quests with a character, they take 1 damage, which I think would be awesome. So that I'll give it props for that, for making me think of that, and it sounds a lot of fun. Vicious Betrayal, I think, is really cool because it is the inverse of Amber's Control Your Temper, which I think is kind of awesome. We've also been lacking this sort of basic, just stat boosting cards that you see in most other games. So far, all we had was support, and so seeing this come out was really awesome, just because it's something that I've been expecting for a while. The little extra, sprinkle on top of giving bonus to your villains is just really cool flavor, and I really like it a lot.
Blake, what you got?
Yeah. Not too much to add, really. I mean, with the Duke of Wesselton or Cycle is Complete, everyone has a 1-2-2-1. Hans can be. I definitely see him in like the Emerald Steel package and getting some bodyguards to protect Hans, so he can continue questing for that 3 lore. Definitely see that being a thing. And Stampede, Yeah, trash cans. I, I can't add too much more to that for now until we see more to justify it. And Vicious Betrayal, I'm just very excited to see because ever since I've seen Big Katie's, I've also been wanting a villain deck. Just to see what that would look like, and definitely excited to see what other villain stuff we might get for to support that.
Yeah, I think just seeing these cards, it makes me, I don't know what I want in for the deck at Gen Con now for my starter deck challenge. Do I want Steel Sapphire? Because I feel like I've been saying that for a very long time as the deck I want. Do I want Ruby Admiral now? I think I do. I think
Ruby Emerald is a lot of fun.
I think that's what I want. But those were the last 4 of our cards. We're going to move on to the next part, which is the Lorcana Germany event that was hosted, obviously, in Germany. And we got a lot of...
It's in Berlin.
Oh, it was...
It was Berlin, Germany.
Oh, Berlin is in Germany. See, one in one ear, out the other.
Come on,
with me.
college boy.
I'm a sports media major. I'm not a history major. Geography, history, same thing.
Okay.
But we got
your education.
But I just want to say a huge thanks to Artem and now Whippet and then the Lorcana Germany page for getting us all of these images. These are just a select few that I picked out from Whippet's Twitter. So if you guys want to go give him a follow, all 3 of them follow, that would be amazing. But we got just a little design piece of the Starcatcher, or Stargazer, Starcatcher. I believe Starcatcher.
Starcatcher,
Yeah.
I believe was the word.
But Blake, you should be excited about this for your lore videos and stuff like that. We also got alternate ink symbols, which to see how many there are for each ink is very cool. That this, well, obviously it's been in design for a long time, but to see how many they've gone through and decide. And then there's that little hidden Mickey on the back of Lorcana cards, which I believe it was Shane that pointed that out, which was very cool, I think, for all of us to see just all those small details that go into this. So what did you guys think of the Germany event? Obviously, they did get put under NDA, so they know a lot. They obviously don't know stuff that we don't know. But what do you guys think about all the stuff that we did get to see from them?
It was a very fun event to read into, and just seeing all this design stuff definitely shared the sentiment that I've seen passed around in the HQ of eventually getting like a behind the scenes Lorcana documentary, just going through the creation process for Lorcana would be a very fun watch, or just to sit through a presentation. I would go to a con just to sit through a presentation like this. This is my kind of thing, just sitting and learning about how it was made, how it was designed, and all the thought and everything that's gone into it. Just very fun to see, and I'm definitely excited to hear what was put under NDA.
Yeah.
Soon, next week, I believe. Artem said the 25th is when that NDA is lifted. So very soon.
I would suspect it has something to do with Lorcana Week then. That might be revealed. Maybe. Possibly.
Yeah. It was the NDA was supposed to coincide with the Lorcana Press Week.
Okay.
Yeah. So next week they can start talking.
Yeah, that's what I thought. See, Sean, Spencer, you guys have any thoughts on this pre-event that they got to host and see over in Germany?
It was just really cool to see that they're trying to include Europe just as much as they're trying to include North America. It's really good to see.
Mm-hmm.
It was really fun seeing the little behind the scenes snippets and what a little bit Ryan and them had to say. It was pretty cool.
Yeah. I think just the fact that they put on the event is really cool. And then, like everybody else said, I like all this little behind the scenes design stuff. I'd love to see, articles and things of that nature, just going through the development of different things throughout the process. I will say I think the hidden Mickey on the card is a bit of a stretch, but that's me. There's also a Ravensburger triangle down in the corner over there. Yeah. So I think it was a cool event. I'm hoping to win the giveaway Alex is putting on for their invite.
Right.
We got the signed Aladdin posters, which is super cool. So, Alex, hey. So go check out Tales of Alex YouTube channel. He goes over his experiences at the con, and he's got a little giveaway going on.
All right. So,
He's still talking.
he is.
No,
not.
never mind. No, never mind. I was looking
Okay.
at the wrong screen.
So, next big thing, allocation.
Ooh.
Obviously, we knew it wasn't going to be great, and I don't know what you guys what you guys have seen. You're talked to. I know Sean, you're not even going to be able to get allocation from an LGS. You're hitting up those big box stores. Blake, you secured a few things from different places. I'm still in the search. I feel like Sneaky, you're still in the search as well, from what I've heard. So I feel like obviously this was expected, but what are your guys' thoughts after now seeing what has happened over the course of the past half a week since last Friday? Sean, I'll kick. Spencer, you can go. You're good.
It's bad, but it's not as bad as like it could have been. Because the first allocations we got were the Alliance allocations, and they were bad. Or like some of the Canadian allocations. And once we started getting in PhD and Southern, they weren't great. But it seems like pretty much across the board, like Southern at least is giving 24 booster boxes to any OP stores. Which I think they did that to kind of align with the OP kits because those support 24 players, so it's like 1 box per player. That might have been what they were thinking. No confirmation on that. That's just purely speculation. Which it's going to entirely depend on your store on whether that allocation is, decent or not. Some stores it's going to be absolutely not even close to enough. Other stores it's going to be too much, depending on where you're at and how many players play and what the demand is in your area. Really, at the end of the day, we need to see what retail looks like, how bad it's going to be scalped. Like the secondary market prices are just absolutely insane right now. TCG player is ridiculous, and it doesn't even make any sense to me. I don't understand how there can be a market price on a platform that people aren't even allowed to sell on. But whatever it is, It doesn't make sense to me. You got stores, charging $250 a box. It's like $300 on TCG Player right now. It's ridiculous. It's all fear mongering. It's nonsense. Like if I can't get the cards, if I'm playing with starter decks for the first 3 months, cool. I'm totally fine with that. Like whatevs.
Yeah.
But I know I'll be trolling targets unless my I haven't talked to my LGS about prices. I know they got the standard 24 allocation and a bunch of starter decks. So I've got some ideas going in regards to some different stuff that we can do in order to help extend the life cycle of the product and make the most out of the starter decks. Like I'm looking at doing calling it the rally format, and it's basically like Jumpstart, but with the starter decks. So you take a bunch of starter decks, cut them each in half by color, and then you can mix and match the colors. And so a couple of friends can sit down, grab out the box, everybody picks 2 at random, you got 2 colors, smash them together, you got your deck play. Like stuff like that to try to make sure that we've got things to do and things that are novel to keep us interested until we can get some more product. It's kind of sad that we have to come up with stuff like that, but it is what it is, so we got to roll with the punches and do what we got to do.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, with Disney being how big it is, there's going to be a lot of demand for it. And hopefully by the time we see the second set and into next year where we have the 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th sets, they have figured it out and they're able to get enough product to these stores to be able to sell, because obviously it's going to sell. We've seen it already that this game will sell, even if like OP and the competitive scene doesn't take off as we want to. Collectors will still collect the game. I think Disney collectors will still buy this game just for the cards and the artwork, to be able to say, hey, I have a full collection of Disney Lorcana. Like, that's something that will stay. So I think they're gonna learn from what the first set is, and I believe there's going to be a second print run of the first set, so we'll be able to get stuff after that. But they'll learn, and by the time, I'm hoping by next year, everyone will be able to get the product they want when sets release. So, Spencer Blake, Sean Blake, anything you guys have on the allocation topic?
Not a whole lot to speak of. Like you said, I don't have an LGS. Didn't even apply for any of the programs or anything, so it's going to be drive a really long way away or go to big box stores if I want stuff. I do have a line on a box or two at not too terrible of prices, but we'll see when that pulls through. So hopefully I can get at least that much. I know that plus whatever starter deck type stuff we get at Gen Con, I'm sure will tide me over until they're a little more available, I guess is a good way to put it.
Yeah, I had my dream set up of what I wanted to get, but I've tempered my expectations a bit. I'm going to be happy with just being able to get a hold of some starter decks and just being able to play. That's the main thing, is just having enough to play with. Having starter decks is just fine.
Yeah.
And if I'm able to get multiple, so I can play around with at least some different color combinations and stuff like that until more product gets sent down the line, then we'll do what we can, and we're all gonna do our best to build our communities in our respective areas so that this game can thrive.
Yeah. So obviously allocation is a big topic. Hopefully we will get a little bit more from our local communities in the future. If you guys are listening to this live or are seeing this after, reach out to your local LGSs if you haven't. Ask what their allocation is, seeing what they're doing to get the product out, if they're doing release events, if they have pre-orders, whatever they're doing. Reach out, see if you can help with it, because I know like just being there to help, like run events or something, can always help, and you never know what it may get you. So yeah, just reach out to your LGSs and say, hey, I'm here if you guys need anything, and also ask like what's the process they're going through for the first chapter with the cards. Now, I wanted to pose a question to the boys. We are less than a month out from release date at LGSs, and then we're 2 weeks out from us being at Gen Con and all of that happening. So obviously we have Lorcana week next week. So what do you guys expect to see in the coming weeks before Gen Con and before releases from Lorcana? Do we expect to see that full detailed set list, obviously, or the rules list? Do we expect to get more substantial numbers on allocation and stuff like that? What do you guys expect to see from Lorcana and the community in the next couple of weeks?
Oof. A lot of articles for sure next week.
Yeah.
So many articles.
Yeah.
We're
I
going to
feel
have like a book by the end of next week to read through.
Yeah, I feel like next week's going to give us a bit of whiplash just from the amount of stuff that's going to be coming out. I wouldn't doubt with the volume that the Gamer says that they're going to be releasing, and other publications that I'm sure are going to have access to information. I wouldn't doubt it if we make it to the majority of the cards, if not all of them, by the end of the week. Because I think Eric said they had something like 25 articles or something for the Gamer that they were trying to put out. Yeah, like five a day. Yeah. So lots and lots of stuff. As far as like allocation goes, I don't know. I feel like we've heard everything we're going to hear on that. I don't know how much further it can go than what it's already gone. I I think there was one distro that was like, we're trying to get more boxes to people. I'm not sure how that's actually going or not. But yeah, I don't plan on sleeping super well for the next couple of weeks. Just I'm crazy excited. Like all of the reveals, finally getting down to Indianapolis with everybody, all these crazy people that we've all met over the past like 10 months or so. It's going to be a blast, and I'm so excited.
Yeah, I think next week is going to be absolutely crazy. I fully expect to have the entire set revealed by the end of next week, which means we're going to get like 60, 70 cards in a single week, which is going to be crazy. Some other stuff I'm expecting is, more lore information to come out, just building that, background story of Lorcana, of course. And then, some other things that I'm expecting to see, either next week or Gen Con. I think we're going to be getting our the draft format. I definitely think we're going to be getting the comprehensive rules. And we're going to have to get the tournament packet because before LGS release. And then I think we'll get comprehensive rules before Gen Con. Tournament packet, maybe at Gen Con, maybe not until after LGS release, or right before LGS release. And this is the controversial thing. I'm fully expecting alt art or treatment announcement.
Ooh, okay.
Hot take.
Accidentally smacked my microphone for emphasis.
So excited.
Have fun with that, Blake.
All four of us are on one track now.
Right.
That's a good point. So obviously we have a lot coming next week, and we have the Gamer article. But the Glimmer Gang also has something very big to announce. Next Wednesday, we are going to be joined by our friends Brandon, B-Squared24, John-T from the Illumineers, the Illumateers. We're going to have, Liam and Aaron, there you go, names, please. And then we're going to have the it just goes in and one ear out the other. And we have the Lorcana cast as well. So we're going to have a bunch of people talking about Lorcana and Gen Con and just having fun. And that will be a week away from being there to be able to be with everyone. Blake's going to have all of the Gen Con online stuff for us, for everyone to see. So make sure you guys are ready for that because it's going to be a blast. But we all want to say thank you for watching tonight's stream and podcast. We had a great time talking, and we will see you guys next week with a bunch of friends. So thank you all for watching, and Glimmer on. Thank you everyone for listening and or watching episode 15 of the Glimmer Gang Podcast. We hope you guys all enjoyed, and make sure you're back here next week for our huge Gen Con Palooza stream as we have a bunch of guests and we can't wait to talk about the upcoming event.